What is going on, my fitted collectors? It's just Fitteds Man, and we're back with another video. Alright, as you can see, I got a little new setup, man. So I'm working with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This camera is extremely nice. And when I first saw it, I got it simply because I usually record with my cell phone. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. My front screen cracked, and honestly I felt like I need a better setup because I would use my iPhone and then I'll use my iPad, so my iPad could center me and make sure I'm good and make sure I'm set up or whatever. But I felt like it was a really good investment. Not only that, I am a photographer and I could use my big camera or whatever, but it's a little bit too inconvenient. So I wanted to find something that was convenient for me. So I got the Osmo Pocket 3, and man, I can tell you, this camera is dope. As you can see, this camera is dope. Hopefully you can see this camera is dope. This is my first time actually recording a video with it. So I'm really excited to go through this video. So real quick, as you guys probably saw in my last video, I dropped this Mets hat at T-Spot, which you can probably still cop on Instagram. So I copped this Mets here. Pretty nice, clean Mets, right? Okay. Yeah, so I copped this Mets, and man, everything's been really good. I'm really excited where everything is heading as far as fitted hats. And one of the things I really want to talk about in today's video is what is a exclusive hat? What is an exclusive fitted hat? Now, this is speaking in terms of people that don't know anything about the fitted community, people that just started collecting or something like that. You know, it's not just pertaining to people that are already in the fitted community. So if you're outside the fitted community looking in, technically every hat is technically exclusive, especially if it sells out. You know what I'm saying? So these are the hats that I particularly talk about are custom made 59 fitted new era hats, right? So outside of the fitted community, you have people that just like sport teams and they just like collecting regular hats, and boom. So they go in the store, they buy, just the simple hats that New Era have these stores come out with, stock with, and then, they go from there and then people just buy it. But then you have the custom hats, the ones that not a lot of people can get. So if you look outside of the fitted community, technically all of these hats are exclusive, especially if they sell out. So that's the technical parts. But if you look within a community nowadays, it's kind of hard to label a hat as exclusive unless it's a low stock in the hat. It's 36 items or 18 or 48. You know what I'm saying? It's a very low stock item. But granted, I guess you can go back to my re-rock video. Some stores tend to do that. Now, I guess that kind of adds on to the hats can't really be exclusive. And yeah, you might see me do that a lot because I just think that's so cool. So, okay, so yeah, so with the re-rocks, I guess that kind of makes it a good argument that, hats aren't really exclusive no more. And I feel like a lot of people that I've seen either on social media, talk on Instagram live, they usually say the fitted community is dead. I was in this because I wanted it to be exclusive and stuff. I get it. Just I guess the shoe community, there's a lot of exclusive shoes that didn't really sell at a lot of stores. You can only get it on the sneaker app, etc., etc. I don't know too much about the sneaker community, but yeah, as far as the hat community, I feel like these days it's kind of hard to definitely label an item as exclusive because once that design is in the New Era catalog, any store that has a New Era contract and sees that hat, they can technically drop that hat. Now, of course, there's some scenarios where some older hats, that color is no longer available in New Era, or something in that side patch can't be used. So if another hat comes out, it's not the exact same hat. You do have some stores like John Jay, My Fitteds, oftentimes when he redrops a hat, he'll drop a 2.0, so that the 2.0 isn't the same as a 1.0, because what I realized, like with my fitteds and John Jay's hats, a lot of his hats actually can't be found. Of course, like just like anyone else, he had a few those re-rock, etc. But like as I stated in my last video, there's an old community and there's a new community. The old community will say certain hats are panic, and still those hats are technically kind of popular to them in their head because those never been re-rocked. So I guess that goes back to the question, like, but that makes me ask the question, like, do you guys feel like certain fitted hats, what's the question I'm looking for? Actually, I had it and then I kind of lost it. I'll get back to it. You know, when I do these YouTube videos, I don't have a script or anything like that. It's my authentic self. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like okay. So like with older hats that came out like 2020, 2021, that people thought they were really exclusive and panic and all, like with those items that aren't re-rocked, do you feel like those hats are still panic in 2023? Like even though those hats, like, so if your hat gets re-rocked, does that mean that your hat is still I'll give you a perfect example. So White Sox game 6 that came out at Hatclub NoHo, right? So when that originally came out, of course it was panic, game 6, boom boom, Michael Jordan, we need it, pink bottom, boom boom, need it. So then that hat was re-rocked probably like 3 or 4 times. Is that hat still panic? Do people still talk about that hat? You know, I sometimes still see people talk about that, but since that, now granted, if you haven't seen my re-rock video, so basically it's when a store comes out. So for example, this hat came out at T-Spot. If this exact same hat comes out at a different store besides T-Spot, people call that a re-rock. So the hat re-dropped at a different store. Personally, I don't like using re-rock, but I use that just so people can understand the language. If it's the exact same hat, I honestly just call it a re-drop, because technically that's what it is. It's just a re-drop. It's just dropped at a different store. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and 2, hats aren't really exclusive anymore, in a sense, because a lot of stores do pre-orders now. We know where pre-orders started this year. Pre-orders started at 95 North, you know? So once they started doing pre-orders, everyone else started doing pre-orders, because that technically did sway away from a lot of hats being re-rocked. Granted, of course, some hats that were already entered at the time still got through, still went out, whatever. But when those stores came out with those hats, no one really bought them. And granted, too, like there's like I guess you could say there's like a re-rock movement right now where a lot of people aren't purchasing re-rock hats right now. So I'll give you an example. Extreme Wear, they came out with a bunch of re-rocks of Rushmore hats. Now, a lot of people aren't buying those hats. Those hats are currently sitting right now, which is interesting to say the least, because it's like, well, were those hats panic in the first place? You know, like were those hats, you know, like did people really rock with those hats in the first place? I don't know, but you know, I'm just saying, like, but that kind of, like, seeing stuff like that, it's either A, they don't want to buy the hat and be embarrassed by tagging the person on Instagram, or B, they still buy the hat, they just don't post it, which I'm sure people probably do. A hat is a hat. You're gonna buy whatever you like from any store. Shout out to Bones. But yeah, like, if you didn't get the hat from Hatclub or whatever, I feel like if you get it from a different store and it's the exact same hat, it shows that you really enjoy that person's design. Like you really mess with their design so much that you wanted to get it from a different store. Granted, it wasn't from the original store, but if it's the exact same hat. So for example, if someone was to ever re-rock this hat, which I highly doubt would happen, but if someone ever does from a different store, I wouldn't be mad because that just means they really wanted it. You know what I'm saying? Like that just means they really messed with my design. If they couldn't get it from the original store and they got it from another store, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, hey, tell me your opinion. I want to know what you guys think in the comments, on Instagram, whatever. Like, I feel like, granted, I could always go on Instagram and talk about this and stuff like that, but like, I feel like YouTube just makes more sense to me, you know? But yo, tell me what you guys think about the camera. Tell me what you guys think about the little setup, the little video I did. And yeah, man, it's just Fitteds. You guys have a good day. Peace.